Welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it. Houston, welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast, guys. I hope you guys are doing great today. A couple new phases in Joey Chavala, man. How you doing, my brother?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
Hey, it's good to have you. Look, I love that I'm the only one without a background, and I feel left out. You know, everybody repping a little bit of what they like, but
mine's not as cool as Chris's, though.
Yeah, I know.
This guy made it.
If we're gonna use the word "sexy," that background is sexy, man. But Christian, man, how you doing, man?
I am doing fabulous, man. Soccer is coming up soon, so I'm very excited, man. There's many things happening. It feels like the year is literally starting. But yeah, man, I'm pumped. Let's do this.
There's obviously for us, once the teams start playing, it's going to get a little hectic just because that's what we do, right? We cover the Dynamo, the Dash, the Dynamo 2. Bold League. Christian is going to have lots of work there as well. But guys, it's funny because it's Tuesday and I completely forgot there was Champions League games and granted, it's not any team that I want to watch, right? But it's still fun to watch those games in general.
Sure.
Is Arsenal playing in the Champions League?
Yeah.
All right. Just making sure. It's been a while since we've seen them in there, so I don't really keep up with who's in it. I know it's round of 16 right now, right?
Round of 16.
Yes.
But we do have a special guest that is going to be joining us in a little bit. We're giving her a little bit of time just so that she said she may have some internet problems right now. So we'll see how that goes. But Christian, man, I guess just tell the people how they can connect with us.
Yes, sir. As always, you can always find us at BayouCitySoccer.net. That's where you're going to find everything and anything that you need for your Bayou City soccer needs. So you can go check us out there. You can find Rudy at Rudy Segura 3, me at Chris Putalias, and Joey at Joey Chavala 10. You can always hit up Dustin at Bayou City Soccer on the X. I guess we're calling it X now, or Twitter.
Don't do that. Don't be that guy. Yeah, my wife just was like, she had a Twitter a long time ago, and actually I told her, I think your Twitter got hacked because it's retweeting a lot of weird stuff. This was like a couple years back, and right now for whatever reason she's like, oh, I need to get in the X, and I'm like, no one calls it that. Like, what are you doing here? No one calls it the X. Yeah, so if I say, hey, yeah, go on Twitter, she'd be like, you mean the X? I'm like, no, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? But anyways, man.
But yeah, you can, just to finish it off, don't forget, we have a Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter /X for Rudy's wife. And it's going to be at Bayou City Soccer. Check us out there. Also, the YouTube channel, go check us out there. Leave us a nice comment, a nice review. And the website, man, you can find, like I said, anything and everything, even some merch. So BayouCitySoccer.net, you can always find everything there, guys. And we appreciate the support. You can always buy us a coffee. There's a link there. Give us a little, maybe a coffee or beer, whatever you like. And of course, we want to give a shout out to Ugly Guppy, helping all the news go out to the world. So shout out to those guys. You can check them out at, on Instagram at Ugly Guppy. And I think their website is uglyguppy.com, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct, man. And this is how special Joey Chavala is. Just for him, we moved our streaming days to Tuesday. Look at that, Joey. Just for you, we moved them to Tuesday. That's how special you are in our heart, my friend. But
I feel appreciated.
It's good to have you here. Hopefully we can continue doing it Tuesdays. We did obviously notice that there's going to be a conflict of schedule pretty quickly since next Tuesday there's already the first game for the Dynamo and Champions Cup, and then the Tuesday after that they'll be playing here at a really 9:30 game at Shell Energy Stadium. But man, I guess we can talk more, but we do have Maggie. Man, I'm gonna butcher her name. McEthan. I'm gonna say that's right. She can definitely hear us, but she's about to join us, and we'll hear more from Maggie. I know. I see. If someone's gonna say the names, it's probably gonna be either Christian or myself, and we're gonna just kill them.
Right? Butcher it. Yeah.
That's
Most deaf.
But we'll get her in here now. Hey Maggie, how you doing?
Hey guys, I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your evening or night or whatever. I mean, some people sleep pretty late, right, at midnight or something. But
I mean, listen, normally I would be asleep, but I'm off this week, so I took
oh,
a
there we
took a
go.
little vacation time, so,
There you go.
Hey, maybe this.
why not moonlight a little bit, you know?
Yeah, there we go. We worked it out perfectly. So,
Absolutely.
Maggie, you I guess a new face for a lot of people when it comes to covering the Dynamo and the Dash, and we've got to meet you last season, and I already had it in my plans to ask you to kind of introduce yourself, let people know who you are, and Mr. Webb Tilton reached out and was like, hey, Mr. Dynamo fan himself was like, who are you? What have you been doing? Where have you been hiding before last year? But Maggie, the floor is yours if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and how people can reach your content.
Absolutely. So I have actually been in Houston for 12 years now. A lot of you may not know who I am, but you have seen my work. I produce for Fox 26. I've done every show there. I've launched the Isaiah Factor Uncensored. He's a big Dynamo fan. Um, I've done pretty much every newscast there, but I've done a lot of our World Series from 2017 and then all postseason. That's been my baby when it came to Astros. So that's kind of where I started getting my sports footing and feeling out how I wanted to approach my next steps and sort of things. And World Cup. World Cup was, Fox has World Cup, and so we were doing events with that and watch parties, and so I was, learning along with that, knowing the game myself, but only not really watching it at the world or the international level per se.
Mm-hmm.
But that was incredibly fun, and then it just got picking up from there, to where, yeah, now we're getting ready for 2026. And whenever the men's and the women's both, they had Hector for the men's, and they had Nichelle and Alicia and
Mm-hmm.
Havana and Sophie and et cetera. There on Michelle Alozia, of
Mm-hmm.
course. So reaching out to do content with them that would also run on Fox, that would coincide with the World Cup. So that's kind of how I got entangled with the Dash and the Dynamo per se. But it's been a joy, and realizing that there's not much soccer coverage on a local TV
Mm-hmm.
news per front. So it's kind of helping that build that, knowing that people are going to be wanting it and people are going to be looking for it come a year or 2 years from now. So why not already have it out there?
Yeah, I think Dynamo fans and just soccer fans in general, I think definitely it's a breath of fresh air seeing a big local channel stepping in and showing that coverage, because it's definitely liked it. I know in the past I've talked about maybe just I don't know, maybe the Dynamo didn't do their part with those local avenues, but it's good to see them back, and obviously they had a really good season last year. That certainly helps. And again, all that interaction that we see, especially of you on Twitter, when it comes to all those events, is really cool. And it's not just the same old, covering the Texans and NBA with the Rockets and the Astros, of course. And yeah, those are always going to be king, right? But I want to touch on that a little bit later on, Maggie. But I know that you did make it out into Franz Alonso's introduction. So we'll probably move into that direction first and
Yeah, absolutely.
see your thoughts on that. But I do have a small clip, and I hope it doesn't buffer too much. But it's about a 2 minute of just him, his first words during the intro. Let's see if I can play it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is the best league in the world, but if it's not, definitely is the most competitive league in the world. So for any manager, it's an incredible challenge. And within the NWSL, Houston is the perfect place for me. Not only because of the city is beautiful, the club have some similarities with my previous club. One trophy in all the years of history, which is exactly the same I have in my previous club, and the ambition and the resources and the passion and the heart to make this a very special time. So for me, it was a no-brainer to come here. The process has been very long, 2 months waiting for my visa. First comment, as soon as I get to the hotel, the players, oh, he's real. They didn't believe, but what I can promise is hard work, determination, passion, and our dream is not only to bring trophies, which obviously every manager wants that, but I want to see a full stadium. I want to inspire these little girls and the little boys and the community. Another reason for me to join the football club is soccer club. Is to the job that the club is doing to the community. This is for me very, very important. I come from a place where club and community are one, and this is what we try to do here. I want to win soccer games in a full stadium. So let's start to work, and hopefully it's going to be the beginning of something amazing for all of us.
Yeah, I didn't get to be there for that. I did catch it on the Zoom that they send out, but Dustin was there. Dustin Richardson was there taking notes as well. But Maggie, since you were firsthand there, kind of what was your thoughts of Fran Alonso and kind of what he spoke about today?
I will be very honest. As I was watching that clip, I noticed my face doing exactly what it was doing when I was listening to him, which was just like you felt the energy from him. It was just like you had that smile on your face and you're nodding the whole time. Those were 3 key words that Jessica O'Neill, president, business operations, said, is that they want energy, passion, and doing energy, passion, and excitement. And that she said that after, the first Zoom, she was like, this guy is fantastic. Like the energy, it was just radiating out of the Zoom call. And it was like, no, we got to do this. We got to go through the process. There's a process in place. But, I asked Fran, I said, what are your 3 words? What are your 3 words for fans? And, he corroborated with them, it was, passion and enthusiasm. It was energy, but he also noted success. And success comes in different forms to him. It's, on the field, but it's also off the field.
Yeah, overall he has that. He's definitely high energy, high motor. Like he's just nonstop. He was definitely wiggling a lot. Like he's like ready to go. I don't need to talk. I just want to go do my stuff. And it's good to see. I think that overall he has probably the drive to get it done, and hopefully that is the case because it is going to be a big jump from the league that he was coming from in Scotland to what a lot of people refer to as probably the best league, or at least one of the best leagues in the world when it comes to women's soccer. So we'll see exactly how that step goes too. But everything is there. It looks like they have a couple more signings in the future. Nothing really was mentioned, names obviously, but there's that. There's apparently a technical director on the way as well. That may be coming from out of seas or Europe from that side, since everybody seems to have some issues with their visas and getting that ready. So
I mean,
I know. So just kind of fun, but the only thing that I have for the Dash is that they are gonna be playing a scrimmage on Friday. So we're just keeping it for this week. There's a picture of him being introduced. Really nice shirt,
yes.
actually.
Yeah.
He was smiling from ear to ear, man. Really happy for this guy to get an opportunity here.
Oh yeah, he said I believe he said he coached his little sister,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of what drove him into, after finding that success with the men, he said, I always wanted to go back and raise the game for the women. And I truly see the passion, and it was just more than 5 minutes, but I see it, and it sounds like the Dash maybe have highlighted the areas of growth that needed to happen, from what Alex discussed. And so that they need clear objectives on and off the field, clear roles. So we got to wait and see. They had a good draft. Got to wait and see how it goes. And Dash player on the U.S. women's national team in the making history in the Gold Cup, Jane Campbell.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're right. Yeah, she be a part of it. And regarding the Dash, they'll do have a scrimmage against the Costa Rica national team that obviously is going to participate in that Women's Gold Cup. it's exciting. Just preseason just kind of brings everybody some hope, and it's going to be different. And everybody at the same time has the aspirations to winning some kind of trophy. The Dash missed out on the playoffs last year, but it's going to be one of those interesting on. Can they do it again? Obviously, they had a historic season when Juan Carlos Amorós was there in 2022. And can they do it again this year? So, guys, you guys have any questions for Maggie when it comes to the Dash, Joey?
Yeah, so it seems you really like the coach right now. What do you think about the overall roster? Because I still have lots of questions about that.
Wait, what'd you say?
What are your thoughts on the overall roster construction as of right now? Because I feel like they haven't done enough yet.
I mean, I would agree, but I'm not really one to give so much on takes per se. But I mean, I would agree. I do think there's more that can be done. I know that they've alluded that there is more that will be done. It's just, I mean, how do you compete with, even in the last 24 or 48 hours with Bay FC?
Right.
I mean, that's hard to do. So you got to make the moves where possible. I mean, I think it's strong. I think the back line can be stronger. But he did focus on Fran did focus on, realizing Maria's talent, and Alex honing in on wanting to make her the best, the best left winger in the league. So fingers crossed it all works out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Maria's yet to have a really high statistical season yet, so it's going to take a lot out of her to really get her to be one of the best wingers. But I do like the optimism on that end.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, hey, you can only go up, right?
Exactly. I have a question. Let me throw in a question in there. Since the Dash, or I guess the whole soccer community, or not soccer community, but the Dash and Dynamo just kind of won you over in these last few years. If you were, to pitch the Dash to a potential player, how would you pitch, the Dash, the organization, the city of Houston? If you had that role of, going out there and you trying to convince people, what would you say? Because obviously they somehow, they were able to get you to get in there and, be excited about soccer and the sport and the team and the club and the colors and everything like that. How would you translate that to maybe somebody or player that is looking for a team, especially now with so many, Casey Curran getting their own stadium, all these crazy things going on in the NWSL. How would you do that?
I mean, first and foremost, when I interviewed a few other players that they're no longer with the team, but I said, what does this club mean to you? And the first word that they came to them was family. And it was actually something that Fran said today, that family. He wanted family to be a big part. It's a big thing for him. So I think number one, they really do treat you like family. Obviously, I'm not that close with the Dino and the Dash, but I have been covering them very closely this past season, and the season before, just on the outs. But they're very much on family. It's the cultures there. There are so many cultures, not only with the club, and they respect those cultures, but in the city of Houston itself. I can't really say, there's the stability of with a coaching per se, because it's truly been a carousel these past couple of years, but you're buying into the club, and the club is very much focused on family and, wanting that culture, that winning culture that they're trying to still establish. They've found it. They're trying to still establish their footing again. But I mean, I don't know. There's so many ways to sell it, but obviously sometimes you don't really have to sell it. You kind of just get stuck here, and then you're forced to kind of absorb it.
Yeah. There's so many food places you can go to in the day.
That's what I was saying. Just write a
game,
top 10 list.
Even in the game, even in the stadium, all you have to do is walk around, and it's honestly the best stadium food in Houston, bar none. And I know that there's some crazy foods that Texans games, and you got Lance's Maven cocktails at Minute Maid and the Rockets. But I mean, the food is bar none when you think about it. They truly do envelop all of the cultures that they, within the space that they can.
I know. I was talking
Yeah.
to a friend this morning, and he was mentioning some kind of event, foodie land, something happening at NRG. I don't know. I think it's brand new, but I was like, man, the more you talk about food, the way he was describing it, I was just like, I just need a Trill burger for Shell Energy Stadium. I just need to go get myself a Trill
It's
burger.
so good. It's so
Yeah,
good.
I don't know. Food like that, when it's so good, I feel like there's crack in it because you keep coming back. There's something in there. There has to be something in there.
I mean,
Something.
Also,
brings it
a
back.
quick shout out to Bun B. If you want to sponsor us, we're open to conversation.
Nick Scarfield, hey.
Right.
You know?
No, that's great. I think like I said, the Dash is barely taking off this season, and we'll see kind of how it's set up. From like what Joey asked, I think the roster itself has a lot to be desired. There are some big names like Maria Sanchez and Diana Ordonez, but I just don't see the talent being able to compete with, like you said, Bay FC and San Diego current or Wave, all those big teams, and it's a really small.
Chicago.
It's a really small league, right? It's only like what 10,
Gotham.
12, different 12 now, right? Is it 12? It was 10. So yeah, plus 2.
Yeah.
Did
That's
I
12.
have that correct?
Yeah, you carry the 4.
You carry
yeah.
the 1 divided by 2, multiplied by 3. So it's a very tight league, and it's going to be hard to put them away. But let's touch a little bit of the Houston Dynamo, because again, that's another team that you've been covering, and we love it. We always had the joke of every pregame presser. It's like, hey, it's only us and Maggie, so at least we have some company nowadays, right? So
Right?
yeah, we love it. We love that you're here covering the game with us. And like I said, who doesn't love to see a big outlet kind of come in and cover it? But regarding the Dynamo this week, they ended up taking a flight to Orlando, so they'll be playing against Orlando City tomorrow. Basically, that's it, right? There's no other games till like are non-competitive after this one. So this is really probably, we'll see what the starting lineup may be. The information wise, I don't know if we'll get anything in particular. It's preseason. They keep it pretty close to the chest when it comes to in soccer, and it's understandable. But we know there were some big injuries. So Hector Herrera, we've talked about in the last few episodes.
Yep.
Nelson Quinones as well had a really ugly injury. The team has not released any official statements on how long the injury is going to be. There's rumors out there that 7 to 8 months. Who knows at this point what it is? We'll find out soon enough, I think. But Joey, I'll just kick it to you, man. What are you expecting out of this Orlando City match as they get ready for St. Louis next week?
I think it's more of the same, keep trying to involve Sebas into the team more, get him continuing scoring these goals coming into the season. Trying out different shapes and different tactics without Herrera is going to be key. I think another big piece is going to be getting Jan Gregus fit into this team, because he's going to be a huge player without Herrera in the lineup. I think we probably end up seeing him start the season, either him or Brooklyn Reigns in that position. So it's gonna be really important to get these guys ready to go. St. Louis next week, it's coming really quick. Without Herrera, it's I don't want to say bleak, but it's scary. It's scary for sure.
It is a little scary, but since we're here, let's go ahead and give predictions for that game, guys.
Ooh, okay.
Well, everybody will get a turn at this, but let's just focus on the first leg. I'm sorry, which is again on Tuesday. Maggie, do you want to give it a shot? Just kind of where you're thinking this game's going to look like? Win, lose, draw?
No pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure. I mean, I'm gonna say a 1-1 draw.
Okay.
Conservative. Yeah.
No, I'm gonna be conservative, just because these preseason, it's really been, Chivas it's been Chivas B team, and while they have been playing great, we really don't know what we're getting in.
You're right.
without Hector? This be coming into exactly the exact team with just a few additions back? I'd say, 3-1 Dynamo.
Yeah. Yeah. And St. Louis City came in hungry the first year. They did really, really good.
Yep.
They ended up going to they were first in the Western Conference. And towards the end, they kind of faded off. They got beat by
They got
Kansas City.
stunned.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
And then we beat Kansas City.
And then we beat Kansas City. That's kind of how it goes. So maybe there's still going to be a build up to a rivalry there if we continue to kind of get the best of some of those teams that are coming in hungry. But yeah, so I myself, I think that it's going to be difficult just because St. Louis is probably going to fill their stadium. They have a February time slot of, I think, 7:30 compared to like when they play here at 9:30, which we'll talk about next week. But I think if they can come in and get that draw, with, like you said, Maggie, I don't see it completely out of the picture. But not having Hector Herrera, not having Nelson Quinones, you hope that you don't come out limping out of that with like a really ugly score. What about you, Joey? What are you thinking?
See,
Now
the thing
listen,
with
but hold up. We had some. I brought this point up. We brought this point up
Get it.
on
Go
Twitter.
ahead.
We had there were about two games. I mean, Hector was on international duty in that back latter half when the Dynamo started gaining momentum. How do you think that changes then versus coming up with this season? Your guys' actual thoughts, because they have won without him.
Yeah, Joe, you
and
can
without Coco at some point,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen the team without Herrera, and they've gotten some results, but it hasn't been pretty for sure. I mean, and the guy who's really came in and stepped up for him has been Luis Casado, who's also not with the team anymore. So
true.
That changes a lot. Well, Jan Gregus maybe not as mobile as Caicedo is, but he's definitely a bit more dynamic on the ball with his passing range. So it'll be interesting to see how that changes. And then for this game, you look at our off season, and I'd say we towards the back half of the year where we were a better team than St. Louis, and then you come into the off season. I think both teams, if you take their best 11 from the end of last year to right now, they're probably both worse because of the injuries to us and them losing Giacchini.
Mm-hmm.
So, and neither team's really made any key acquisitions so far.
Yeah,
I think this week it's a close game. I think without Herrera, I think we're gonna lose 2-1. I'm gonna go with, but I think we could reverse it at home.
Well, and I think what makes you feel just a tad better is the fact that you do have Coco there, that that he could potentially do the role that Herrera does, because Coco does that with the Panamanian national team. So
it does seem like Coco's going to be staying out wide from what it looks like in the preseason, though.
I agree. Christian, man, what are your thoughts on that and your prediction?
Yeah, I was basically going the route Joe was going. I was saying 2-1. Obviously, you said not to think ahead, but I think we will be able to turn it around because I don't follow rules. But yeah, 2-1. 2-1. I think they're gonna obviously they have the upper hand because they're at home first. They do have probably a better squad, maybe. I don't know, but we'll see. I'm really excited to see how Ben Olsen kind of finagles the starting 11 to kind of cover the holes and just
what a word.
See
what a word! I love that.
Finagle. Hey.
Finagle.
Gotta add it to my vocabulary.
I got it on one of those apps. And you have to include it in your day.
I got it.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not that smart. I don't even know what that means. I just know that it means
you got to work it in. You got to work it in somehow.
Yeah,
I just call it Tetris. You just got to Tetris in.
You got to Tetris it in.
Yeah. But yeah, 2-1 for me. But with hope, not a terrible game for us. Very tight 2-1.
Yeah, I think the worst, like I said, the worst scenario is that you go over there, you play in a sold out crowd, and the Dynamo lose like 3-0 or 5-0, something that is really irreversible.
Interesting thing about St. Louis is too, if you look at them last year, they're very comparable to what Austin looked like in 2022, where they really outperformed in a lot of statistical categories for what they were expected to do. And we kind of saw that blow up in their face towards the end of the year in those playoff games. So they might not be even with the same roster. They might just not be the same type of team. Like Austin had a similar thing. They didn't really have a crazy offseason last year. They brought in Lundqvist and Zardes, two pretty good MLS players, and they got way worse. So we could see the same thing with St. Louis, and we could just really dominate that game, especially in the home leg.
Yeah, that's true, man. So again, I think we're all definitely excited for that to come around next week, just because it gets the season going. The Dynamo first, then we'll have is it the Dash before Dynamo 2? I know the schedule came out. It's around the same time. So Houston soccer is back, and that's definitely good to see. And then, of course, I just added this picture because again, that jersey ended up getting leaked, which is kind of sad. Those guys put a lot of work into making that super creative and when it comes to the new releases of the jerseys, but we know it's purple. I think we all saw it coming if you kind of kept up with the graphics from last season, especially going into the playoff. They intermingled, or no, what was the word?
Finagled.
They finagled a lot of that purple into the graphics. So as soon as we kind of saw it, I told the guys, expect the purple jersey for the Dynamo in 2024. And that's what it looks like we're getting. But Maggie, did you get to see that picture of that jersey shirt? I know Dustin probably showed you something that we're not supposed to talk about. But yeah, well, what do you think about that shirt?
I saw some leaks with the jersey with the swingers.
Mm-hmm.
The swingers. Yeah, I mean, listen. I know when in tail end of last year, I was told by someone with the team that it was 50 Shades of Orange, and so they were just trying to you'll notice in the stadium that there's a lot of places that they covered up some of the cement that inside.
Yeah, they made it dark orange, right?
Yeah. I want to say they went to like a dark gray color or charcoal color. But I mean, listen, why not add a little sprinkle of a color? And it's exciting. Now we need the Dash. I want some blue. I want that blue.
Yeah. I think, talking about the Dash, we did see like the jackets that they're wearing, their training jackets, is like a deep blue.
Yeah.
And usually,
I love the sherbet colored like training kits too.
Yeah. And so Nike tends to match those train kits. I don't know. You may have to
for the right price.
Take one when no one's looking. But no. What about you, Joey? What you saw the picture, man, or at least a stint of what it may look like? What are you thinking, man? You like that purple?
Dude, I love it. I'm gonna miss the black, but
they call it the lean, I guess. Lean.
Right. I'm definitely gonna miss the black.
The lean as a movement blacks. Lean or.
Sure. We'll add DJ Screw that.
I think the last black one might be my favorite jersey the Dynamo have ever wore. So I think
is it this purple? Is it this purple? No, I'm
kidding. I'm totally gonna miss that one, but yeah, I think the purple one's gonna be really cool. I'm gonna eventually buy it, not right now because I know they price them really stupidly at this point.
Yeah, that's another thing, man. Those jerseys keep getting expensive.
They were expensive last year,
and people are saying it's because of Messi, right? Messi's making everybody has to pay for Messi at this point.
Yeah, I'm still upset.
If you look at those prices, I feel like they're very comparable to like. While it's not the same funding and it's not any of that, but like if you go into Minute Maid, it's
yeah. Those jerseys.
It's very comparable to that. I don't know about Texans because I haven't purchased a Texans jersey.
So they're better quality than NFL jerseys. The NFL jerseys are awful quality.
Yeah. No, I agree. Honestly, I don't own any like official Astros shirts because of that. I always walked in and I'm like, oh man, they're like double the price than like a regular soccer jersey. And I used to have a ton of soccer jerseys, but now you're right. Really thinking about it, I think I just walked into Academy the other day and it was like, well, granted, go now. It was like 70% off for a McCullers shirt or jersey. So you get it for $60 instead of $180. So yeah, you're right. It's basically very similar when it comes to the pricing. So I guess we got to get used to it no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not any other, merch out there like independently that could even supplement,
Hmm.
the teas. The Dynamo will have their free teas or their release teas with certain drops, but you don't really have, I think Running Game posted something the other day and they were like, who would want some Dynamo, like a fresh Dynamo drop? And I was like, I would.
Right, right.
So
Yeah,
I'm
you're
like,
right.
hey, y'all go bombard their Instagram page and be like, yes, we want it.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Like, hey, we need options. The ladies need options. Everybody needs options.
Yeah, I think the best part, and obviously the rebrand. I talked about recently how when they changed the logo from the old Dynamo to this new HD logo, um, at first I was like, "What is this?" It's it was ugly to me at first sight, but it's grown for yeah, for me to like it enough that it makes even more sense when it just in merchandise in general. It's more appealing, a little bit, I guess, more simple, especially just the hexagon with the HD or the hexagon with the H for the dash. I think that it's done a great job just because it makes the apparel. But you're right. I think there's just not enough apparel out there that you can buy that looks great. Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
see. Uh,
And it took me a while. It took me a while to figure out what the actual H and the design was. And I believe it's like the bayous
Crossing each
along
other.
with, crossing each other. And
yeah.
yeah. And I was like,
I
okay, that's kind of cool. I wish there was something with it's like a little bit more distinctive because that's like truly like for the H,
Yeah, someone commented, and I think it's Mike John. I'm gonna go with that.
Mike
Other
Jones, what?
Mike John. He has a good point because he says other sports jerseys may be very expensive, but they don't change it every season, so they're cheaper in the long run.
True,
That is
true.
Right.
because
Solid
obviously,
point.
like for instance, the Texans right now have, which we'll talk about that too, but they're changing their jersey colors and this and that. So right now they have like a giant fire sale happening to get rid of that old merchandise. That is true. I mean, they don't really rebrand. I was looking at some pictures from like JJ Watt in 2011. I'm like, it's the same jersey. Like, it really hasn't
Yeah.
changed much. So that's true because, yeah, I mean, you get one every year. And for me, as the only team that I really follow now, which actually, you know what? Update: Chivas is winning, by the way, guys. So if you guys are watching the Champions Cup, Chivas is already winning. I think they're 1-0 almost at halftime. So, anyways,
Who they
but
playing?
they're playing a second, or no, sorry, not a second division, a top tier Canadian team called Forge FC. So powerhouse. They're just gonna be a powerhouse. So but where I was going with that is just being that now, and for me, I tend to just follow more the Dynamo, and so spending money on like a jersey every year doesn't seem as bad. But I mean, it is a lot of money, every year if you
It
think
is a
about it
lot of
jersey
money.
wise. And at some point, they're just gonna start sitting there because you're just wearing the newer jersey that you're buying, and then the rest are sitting there for a collection. But um, I personally, talking about the purple, and Christian, I guess before I give my 2 cents about it, man, what's your feeling about that jersey? I don't know if you did.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the purple. As much as we kind of have an idea of what the true meaning behind the purple is. Obviously, it has like a whole cultural side to it. That to me personally, it's kind of like dear to my heart in a way because I learned English kind of listening to that music, which is interesting, right?
Oh, fantastic,
Uh,
man.
yeah, I know, of course. Growing up where I grew up here in Houston, obviously, like everybody around me in my circle, listen to that type of music, or tipping on fofos was before me learning finagle. So like, it's one of those things that you just kind of it's kind of home away from home, even though like this is home now. um so it just kind of brings those memories of like childhood and listening to like I have somewhere in a garage I have an actual tape. I don't even know how we call it anymore, but the cassette.
Cassette.
Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
CD screw cassette somewhere in
A
the house.
boombox.
I thought you were gonna say you have a mixtape that you haven't sold yet. I
I
really
probably
thought that's
did.
where
I
you're
probably
going
did.
with.
Now imagine if I rapped. Oof. But no, but yeah, no, it just kind of takes me back, to middle school, high school type thing, and also, on the other side of stuff, kind of knowing the people that do everything for the Dynamo when it comes to like creative stuff. I'm not best friends with them, but I just know of their work and know who they are and kind of what they've done in the past. And I mean, and the people they collaborate with, like doing stuff like this, right? Like the CD case, whatever. It takes you back to those memories of like you going to
I know kids don't know what a CD is anymore,
exa-
right?
No.
yeah,
You just
yeah.
stream everything. I was looking
Like
at Blu-rays and I'm like, how old are these things?
what's a Blu-ray?
What's a
I know. I'm
Blu-ray?
Can you
hoping.
stream
I'm
it?
hoping they maybe have one of those CDs somewhere. So, like, first game, I can go around be asking kids, "Do you know what this is?"
Right.
That would be good.
That's true. That's true. But
That would be good content.
we did talk.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that definitely would be. Um, and again, there's a kit launch party, a private event. So please don't
Thursday.
show up, so I can
Uh,
get some parking in a really small, tight
Oh,
area.
I'll be there. I got sent to the wrong email.
Ah, sweet. We knew that you got invited too. That's why Dustin's like, I'm gonna ask her, and you were like, what? And we're like,
I
damn,
know.
you ruined
I know.
everything.
I was
But
like, "Wait, what is it?" I was like, "Hey, what is this?" You go, "Oh, wrong email. I sent the wrong email."
yeah. So
It's all good.
again, we'll get to see the jersey. We'll see if they make us or allow us to maybe take some pictures and kind of. I'm sure they'll beat us to it no matter what. Since
Oh, I mean that team, they're fast. They're good.
yeah, they'll exactly right. Usually you get the email and like a second later it's already up. It's like, dang, I can't even break news anymore.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Christian, like you said, you had a memory with like that music. I remember in ninth grade, I'm from Lafayette. I'm not even from Houston. I remember we had to write our name down on like the first day of syllabus in English class, and somebody put Mike Jones on the syllabus, and like we're dying laughing because we're ninth graders, and the teacher's like, Mike Jones, and like everybody would take a turn to be like, who? It's like Mike Jones, and it went on for like 5 minutes. Yes, it was so good, and that's another thing. It triggers a good memory.
Well, talk about that. Let me tell my story. There was when I was also in ninth grade. There was an actual kid in my class that his name was Mike Jones, and that poor kid. It was terrible. He had
what they
probably
were
the
like
worst.
281-330-8004.
No, because literally, they were calling his name, and the kid just wanted to answer like here, but
Yeah,
nobody would let
yeah.
him. The rest of his life, just kind of flipped upside down, and he looked nothing like Mike Jones, by the way. So it just kind of sucked.
Made it much worse. But
He looked more like Michael Jones,
but talking about like the jerseys and sales and stuff, obviously the Dynamo are gonna have a big event on Saturday for their season ticket holders from 3 to 6. I think that's all a different time too. That said 2 to 7. So whatever it is, you got the email. I got the email myself. But the Texans decide to kind of do an event at the same exact time as it. So it's gonna make it rough for people to kind of pick which one they want to go to. Always making it a little interesting, right? Nobody really stealing Thunder. Wink, wink. But
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this type of events, Maggie?
I mean, listen, I think they're nice. I think there was a huge showing when they did. I know it was my first like true full season last season, but the mid-season fan event, there was a huge showing for that,
Yes.
and fans really liked it. And I think, I mean, I don't know if they've done this in years past, have they?
So the meet the teams, they do tend to do them. I think they only
Mhm.
miss COVID. Well, actually 2020 and 2021, but the meet the teams, they try to do them every year for the season ticket members.
Yeah. So this kickoff event is new.
Yeah, I don't think they've done fire sales, but not the way that they have it set up for this one. Didn't it say there was going to be people like players are supposed to be there signing? I know I had it somewhere, but the fire sales they do every year.
Yeah.
Well, almost every year. I think last year they actually did it when the a dash open practice. So they did
Okay.
they did it with the dash. They're, I believe, just inner squad practicing against each other, and so they had the items for sale. Which, I mean, if you get the chance, and if you're a big fan, go to those, man. You get such great deals
Yeah.
on items that you would never ever see, because a lot of thing is like locker room. Maybe some guy left their name tag, and you go and buy it, right? You can go and get uh who left last year?
Your teenage
Yeah,
Hot
teenage
Davies.
Davy at this point, or Ivan Franco,
Corey.
or yeah, Corey Baird. There, so they'll have jerseys
for
like that
for
from
Udis.
for yeah, yeah.
Shout out
We know
Udis.
somebody that his name is
Got
Hubis, that
blocked.
they got blocked by Corey Baird early on, just for fun, I guess. We don't even know what he did, but he always brought
He
it
was
back.
being a nice guy online, the
He was
typical.
being a nice guy online, and got himself booted. But
Corey
yeah,
Barrett is the one interview I could never nail down.
on which one?
Corey Barrett for myself with the Dynamo.
Oh no,
He
nobody
was
could.
always available before a game, but you could never talk to him before a game. Then wanted to leave right after,
Mhm.
and then couldn't. Yeah, and it was like, come on.
No, we feel your pain.
We
Yeah.
tried getting him too.
You know how many wrote down like a bunch of questions, and it just never happened. But
Yeah,
I think that's just his personality. He seems kind of like I don't want to talk to anybody, and
Yeah.
it's understandable. Some
oh
players
for
are
sure,
like
you
that.
got to respect the privacy. But it's like, man,
But I
I just
think
have-
because he doesn't talk, it makes him a little bit more interesting. You kind of want to break that
Right?
shell, learning a little bit more about them, and kind of how they go about it. So no,
Yeah, and they're right before we were facing Salt Lake. I believe it was one of their fan podcasts over there. One of the members, I believe his wife was diagnosed with cancer,
uh-huh.
and that was actually the one big thing I wanted to ask him, because he actually donated to the GoFundMe right before their game, and all of they could do, they were like, we want to talk so much smack right now, but wow, like this guy has always been a stand-up guy. We loved him then, we love him now. I really wanted to talk to him about that, because that's just really cool.
No,
I respect people that still reach out and appreciate and recognize, despite them being so, busy and
I agree. And he got married, and so many life changes for him and for a couple of the guys. But let me
yeah.
see what else I have that
We'll
we can
never
talk
know.
about. I know, right? Oh,
We'll
yeah.
never know.
So I guess at this point, let's move into a little bit of the international games and competitions happening here. We'll start with the Gold Cup. I do like the fact that you mentioned how you. I did a little bit of digging because I have to, but you're at Lace. Look, I can't even say the name, but you deal with all the international
Liaison.
liaison. There you go. Yeah, you know what I was saying. But do you deal with the
Last week?
this is what happens, man. We're good friends for a reason. Finish each
Is
other's
the,
sentences.
is the ESL?
Yeah.
Am I the international liaison?
My brother, yes. I was gonna say, you just mentioned for the World Cups, but what about just the international competitions like this one, like the Gold Cup? Do you get involved or in that aspect, in the background of it?
Not necessarily background of
okay.
it. Not necessarily background of the Gold Cup. Fox has, truly just been working with Fox, and so with Fox with the World Cup,
Sure.
I had a spot at the table for the host committee, the World Cup host committee.
Okay.
And so that's been truly helpful. But I think all of these competitions are just a way to grow the game even further.
Right.
It's just, how do you get that word out there, and how are people? That's just the hardest thing, is filling the stadium.
And one thing that Fran mentioned was the fact of, and you kind of touched on it too, how he kind of just saw it as like the women's game got like a bad rep and things he heard, and how he wanted to make a difference. And just seeing, this is the first Gold Cup, right? This is the inaugural women's Gold Cup for CONCACAF.
Yep.
It's a big deal. I don't, maybe like you said, just the having the competition out there. 3 games, or not even 3 games. It's actually 6 games at Shell Energy Stadium, because all those dates there are double headers. What do you like about seeing the women's game grow? I don't know if you play the sport yourself, or just kind of seeing how it's progressing, in recent years.
I did play growing up. I was a striker. I had a real mean right foot. And I played forward a little bit. I could not run. I was not good. Don't like the only thing I will run after is a chicken wing. I will be very honest. Like, but yeah, listen, it's something that needs to happen. We just came off a historic Women's World Cup. But it's time to give women their flowers. They're just as entertaining, if not more. I mean, there was not even soccer related, but there was a moment the other day between South Carolina women's and Ole Miss women's teams where someone's kind of hair fell off, but it was like everybody just crowded around and just it was just that's what women's sports are like. Instead of focusing on and somebody's like pulling it even more, it was like, now we're going to help everybody out and crowd around. It was just these are the things like women are all about building up, and I really love where it's going. It needs more recognition, but I think that it's starting to get the flowers that it deserves.
Yeah, no, it's great. For sure. Joey, anything you want to add on that or
on the Gold Cup?
Yeah.
No, I'm just excited to have some games here, Should be a good time. What's the first game? Is it Paraguay, right? Paraguay,
yes.
Costa Rica? That should be some good games.
Are you going to try to be in those games, Maggie? Where you
I am credentialed. Yeah, I am credentialed. Okay. So I will, I'm going to hopefully go. Cause,
I'll see you Sunday. That's the only, I know that of the 3 days. I thought Sunday. I'll see you Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, because it could very well be a Women's World Cup coming up here in a few years.
Yeah, you're right. So the next matchup, it's Copa America. Obviously,
I have thoughts.
Oh God, go for it.
No, I just want to say because I was looking at the logo. I don't know if you want to put it up real quick.
Yeah, I'll put it up real fast.
I really like. Like lately, I'm really into like rose gold for some reason.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell my wife to give me a rose gold chain, but she said she wants to buy me a chain, so I was why not?
I like it.
I think this is for CONCACAF. The winners should get like rose gold rings. I think it would be dope.
That would be cool.
Ooh, I like that.
Or even the medals, because sometimes those medals, a rose gold medal would be pretty cool too.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then the ribbon, to be purple.
Like purple, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Like that.
Lean, remember lean. You got to bring that. DJ Screw will be proud of that purple, man.
Message to CONCACAF if they want. Or how did the
what was it?
Concaifa. Hit us up for more ideas.
Search for some Concaifa.
I had never seen Terry Henry laugh so hard. He was just so disappointed.
It was like, I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna try this. Like,
that was pretty fun. That was pretty fun.
He for sure went to Google and like hit the little thing that tells you how to say stuff. Concaifa.
Yeah.
He's like, let's go with this.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Yeah. So again, I showed the Copa America. That's another big tournament we'll have this year. Again, we're kind of getting ready into that World Cup. So Maggie, we're so happy that you got in here before all these big tournaments happen, because we know we'll see good coverage in our local stations about the sports in general. But Copa America, big, right? I mean, there's gonna be how many games here? I think 4. I should wrote it down, but Mexico plays here. That's one at NRG. They always tend to fill it up when Mexico comes to place at NRG. So there'll be, it's just slightly getting crazy towards the World Cup. So 2025, I believe there's something. Is that
the Club World Cup?
The Club World Cup.
Yeah, Club World
Cup. Club World Cup. Women's World Cup would be 27.
27, right? The year after.
Dang.
So again, it's just
boom.
Yeah. It's crazy. So then again, the World Cup. You say you cover it for the Fox. It's crazy that we get 7 games just to think about it, and people always want to throw it, again. And before we end, I have a good question. But 7 Super Bowls, 7 massive events. So whether you get a Bolivia against Nigeria, I mean, it's going to be crazy no matter what. So how excited are you about that, Maggie?
I'm thrilled. I'm so excited for Houston to be able to be on that stage, but to personally witness something like that. I really hope by that time that the rest of America is on board and shows the hell up, because it's going to be something truly special and something for, I think, the history book. Well, it is already history book. It's the largest sporting event in the history of the world now with the expanded countries.
Yeah, with 48 teams going into it, obviously you have Mexico, Canada, and the United States all in already. So maybe we'll get smaller countries, right, like El Salvador or Honduras, teams that have struggled to make it in our region. And then other teams, maybe like Venezuela, that's never seen one, and from South America, and so on. But that's funny that you mentioned about the Americans maybe getting on board. And that's one question, and one thing that I told you is like, why do you think? Obviously, we just had the Super Bowl, beautiful
Yeah.
Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
We had the Super Bowl just happened this weekend.
Yeah.
But
Where's Taylor?
why? Yeah, give me a second. She's in here for sure. Yeah, I was gonna say it was really
Oh,
about
there she
this.
is.
It was really about this. For,
My eyes, my eyes. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Right.
It doesn't bother me.
No, but that was the main point of conversation for a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
But why won't more Americans give soccer a try? You think that is? Huh?
It's so frustrating. I don't know why, because the majority of America is ADD or ADHD, and soccer is for the ADD and ADHD. Like, it is a sport where you literally can't look at your phone. You need to, like, it's just, you got 45 minutes just to watch, and you're watching, and it's good. And like, it's those moments where you just, like, you're standing up randomly. It's not this build up to where you need to get to there. It could be at any second moment that, like, you're getting off because you're like, holy, like, I don't know. It's very hard. Like, it's
And
just,
it's
I don't know.
nonstop. Yeah.
It's nonstop, and
Yeah.
I love that about it. I don't understand. People are so stuck in their ways.
Yeah.
If they didn't grow up with it, they're it's very hard to lure them into something else. But I mean, there's ways you got to figure out. And I don't think it's just winning. I don't think that it's just winning that is what's going to continue to grow the sport in the US. But there's also the cost factor of it. It is a very expensive sport. It's the most expensive sport to play.
Yeah. No,
And you don't really need anything, which is frustrating.
Is it more expensive than hockey? Hockey's pretty
It is more
expensive.
expensive. There was a recent, oh gosh, I want to say it was like USA News and World Report or something. Oh, it was one of those. It was saying that, like, soccer was the most expensive sport in the US. Yeah. But apparently there are things being done, especially in Houston, to lower that cost, including with the World Cup, their big initiative.
That's good. Good to hear, because
Yeah, good to hear.
I've seen a lot of talent, just fall off because they couldn't pay to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just and comparing it to countries like Brazil, Argentina that you're from, Christian, and even Mexico. No, you're not Argentina. What? What is all that back there? But yeah, just seeing the way that obviously it's a different setup. Which I actually talking to a coworker who's like in his 60s. He always mentioned, like, when I talk about soccer with him, because I'm the only one that probably talks soccer in my company. But it's like, well, how come soccer hasn't caught up? I remember in the 80s how they were saying it was going to boom, and I look and I'm like, it has grown. You probably haven't really done any research on how much it has grown, how many soccer specific stadiums they are, right? They're not only playing in NFL stadiums or college stadiums. I mean, they have specific soccer stadiums, and they're still stuck in this, Pelé playing in New York Cosmos mentality, and how it's never going to get there. And a lot of it, I think, is the way that it's set up, because going back to the countries of Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, that soccer is their only way out there. And here in America, I think is the opposite, right? Football usually is the way out when it comes to a lot of the kids, just in general, right? I mean, that's the way to get to college. That's the way to make it become a millionaire going into the league. So I think that's kind of how it's set up, and I don't think it hasn't it hasn't broken that yet. Even with obviously we know how much like injuries are much difficult to overcome in the NFL or in football compared to like
Yeah.
a sport like soccer, which it is a very physical sport. And then the only thing that I was going to add, and you guys can continue on this topic, but when it's a big pet peeve when they're like, oh, soccer's so boring, it's only 1-1. It's like, you guys know you only score one touchdown and it counts for like 7
Yes.
points, right? Like your math is not there. Watching the Super Bowl this weekend, I mean, it was like 0-0 for most of the game, and then 3-0 by halftime or 10-0 at halftime, and it was like, that's 1-0 in soccer. Like, come on, guys. Like, what's the difference?
You had 0 and a free kick.
Exactly.
Yeah. You mentioned Argentina and how growing soccer. I will say this. The Men's World Cup in 2022, Fox, and that was actually me, along with Houston First, hosted these watch parties for the World Cup along Avenue to Houston. There was this big screen, and at the same time there was a cheer competition going on inside the GRB. That final, when I tell you, it was lined up, packed. It was the largest crowd, and it was all just dads and people from inside are coming along, but they stayed for the whole game, just standing there and watching. So like there is that yearning, there is that want. It's just they need a little bit more of a nudge to get them there. But like the entertainment, I will say that was probably one of my favorite moments, because it was right after they win. We pack up and we're leave, and then I get a call 20 minutes later. It's like, you will not understand the amount of people are at Discovery Green right now. And it was like Argentina just like amassed into fans from everywhere, painting the flags on everyone's faces, jumping on cars. The cops had to come out. It was all peaceful, but it was amazing.
It's
so
crazy.
Like just thinking, seeing that, and it's like, that's just a tiny little population, but that's going to be what is all around Houston in these next coming years, because number one, Argentina travels like crazy. They
sell their PlayStation and Xbox. They do everything, right?
I mean, countries travel like they represent for their team. So I just think that like we need to get ready to be able to see this. And I think that Houston needs to accept it, and just there's a reason why we're the cultural melting pot of the U.S. and just you gotta embrace it.
Chris?
And I'm selling my iPhone, so if anybody wants to. No, man, I don't even know what the question was, but
no, it wasn't a question, but it looked like you were gonna say something, probably bad, but
yeah, it was a stupid joke.
But no, you're right. I think that people tend to forget that Houston is a soccer city, as much as maybe others may not see it. It is. I mean, there's like a supporters group for almost every Premier League team, right? There's we know the Mexican fandom is here. And that's a whole different thing, trying to get people that love the Liga MX to become MLS fans or Houston Dynamo fans in this case. It's just difficult, and I think a lot of it is pride, similar to what the NFL fans and NBA fans and all that. But if you ask them who Messi is or who Cristiano Ronaldo, they're likely to know, if they're kind of in the realm of the global sport, at least in general. But now, you get into the nitty gritty and maybe ask a different name. Same thing for us, right? You may tell me a Houston Texans player name, and I have no clue who it is, other than like a CJ Stroud or Tank Dell or someone like that. That it's kind of more of like the face of the franchise. But it's kind of funny, and maybe in our lifetime we'll see it. Maybe we won't. To see a little bit of this more of fans just kind of going into liking soccer, especially the way that it's booming. And you would hope that terms like this, Copa America, obviously the Women's Gold Cup is a completely different eye opener for the little girls just dreaming to be able to play and see tournaments like that have never happened. Them just kind of enjoy that and kind of make an impact on their lives and how they want to approach it and become professionals. again, you see Copa America, you get like Messi that's still probably going to be in it, as well as the World Cup. I mean, it's just incredible, and you hope that it grows because in '94 I wasn't here for that World Cup, and of course it was very limited cities compared to this one, but it had to have. I mean, Joey, you're from the East Coast. I
Mhm.
mean, there was like, quite a few games over there, if I'm not mistaken, in DC and New York. So
Oh yeah, tons.
probably on that side of the US, there's, and we know there is, right? Because then you have DC United, you have Philadelphia Union, you have the New York teams. They just have a completely different setup when it comes to academies and stuff like that too. So you just kind of hope that that's a boom for all the cities, but for sure for Houston as well. So um
Let,
guys,
let me add something there real
yeah,
quick
I was
before
gonna
you
say
close it down.
anything you wanted to add before
Yeah.
I close.
So I mean, the '94 World Cup was a huge Kickstarter to what the MLS is today.
Yeah.
Because you have the MLS, coming into fruition. 95, 96. And I think personally that having so many tournaments back to back and quality level tournaments, it's not just your regular competition or Sunday league teams playing, but national teams, club World Cup, and a bunch of these games that you're going to see top level talent and names that everybody will recognize. I think this is going to be also like a Kickstarter for something else. I don't, God knows what that's going to be, but if
A Super
one,
League, that'd be a different topic for another day.
right, but if in '94 with those resources it just kind of kicked up a whole league, and now it's a 32 team league almost. Imagine what's going to do with globalization where everybody is connected in 1 second and stuff like that. It's going to be insane. So
You know
I'm
what?
excited.
The team would grow is if it were 94 ticket prices.
Right? Oof, that would be amazing.
Like that's half the sell. Is I mean, like even when the Copa de Lone Star comes in town, the tickets are astronomical.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
so if you're
Yeah.
not the common soccer fan and you're not truly following along, it's very hard to justify splitting the bill for that. I mean,
Yeah.
if journalists, we
absolutely.
don't make much,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, no, you're
like
right.
it's very hard to justify that unless it's either your team, some money that you're going to see, because then you factor in the price and you factor in everything else that costs:
Yeah.
the food, the drink, the
Mhm.
parking, the metro, the
Yeah,
And that's one of the reasons I haven't seen Messi live, because I'm like, how much is my love for Messi?
well, apart
You
from
know?
not having the money, I'm pretty cheap, so I'm not gonna pay anything over a
That
couple
that
$100.
too. That doesn't help
Right,
either.
same
That
here.
hurts me. I'd rather
Yeah.
watch it on TV. They
Yeah.
zoom in. Why am I gonna watch a little tiny? I mean, he's already little, right? I mean, Messi's what 5'5",
Yeah.
but from like a mile away, he's gonna be. It could be Messi, it could be a goalkeeper. I don't even know at that point, basically. But yeah, one thing that I see Orange Hex mentions is like soccer is growing in Houston. I feel that it's already big, but he says there's plenty of fans. Now we just need them to be Dynamo fans, Dash
Yeah.
fans. So
Yeah.
if they can bring it together, it'd be great to see, because I mean, you were there, Maggie. Not one single game was sold out last season with how
No.
great they did. So it's just incredible the way it is. Joey, anything you want to add, man, just in general? Something that, since you've been just kind of letting your brain simmer a little bit there, anything that came up?
Oh, I mean, talking about the Copa America, it's just how great of an opportunity is not just for the growth of the fandom of soccer in America, but even just talking about the United States national team as a whole. That is the best opportunity they could have possibly asked for coming into this World Cup, was getting a chance to play against other teams that aren't El Salvador and Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, no disrespect to those teams, but they're not your Argentinas, they're not your Brazils, they're not your Chiles. Or Chile aren't that great right now, but you know the point.
Yeah.
It's just such a huge opportunity for this group of players. It's such a young group of American players to get to play against this competition and get ready. And you can say the same thing for Mexico too, because Mexico's kind of in a weird transition phase too with their national team program. So it's a great opportunity, and Canada too. And what are the other CONCACAF teams in Copa America? With Jamaica's in it too, right?
Yeah, Jamaica's in it. Yep.
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica,
Is it-
yeah.
is
And then there's Panama's in it, and I think there's a
Panama.
playoff, and some teams are trying to get in as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
At
got
what point was
Canada, Trinidad and Tobago, and Costa Rica, Honduras.
Go ahead, Maggie.
My bad, Maggie. I didn't
No,
mean-
you're good. At what I feel like at some point, what did Canada ever come to an agreement? Their men's national team ever come to an agreement with funding? Do y'all know?
Not sure,
Oh,
and
I
that's
don't
for
know.
the. I think that's for everything, right? For
Yeah,
both
I
men
think
and
that was for
women.
like
So
yeah, but I know it was like the men
the
were kind of like take
Confederation.
some kind of like they weren't going to pay for their international travel or
Mm.
I don't remember what it was. Okay, like don't quote me on that, but I knew that there was still
Yeah, yeah, there's still
some stuff going on
conflict
there.
in
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm.
Who would not want to see an El Salvador against England in a World Cup too? You know, something
that'd be
crazy
awesome.
like that.
Classic.
It'd be an instant classic.
Darwin Seren break Harry Kane's legs or something.
Imagine sitting trying to cover, Grealish or somebody.
Bukayo Saka,
Yeah, that'd be
That'd be
freaking
dope.
hilarious. But yeah, I guess Maggie, you know, I whenever I reached out, I'm like, hey, 15 minutes is fine, but feel free to stay. So I'm
Sorry.
happy. No, I'm happy you stayed because I was gonna say everybody like we had Glenn Davis, we had Cesar
Right.
Procel, and both of them were like, hey, just 15 minutes. I know you guys are busy.
Yeah.
It seems they enjoy the whole talk. So I'm glad that you did too. And
Yeah, I did. This is great.
you didn't snooze off and turned it off or whatever. But I thank you so much for joining. I know that we get to see you, like I said, as we cover the team.
Yeah.
And this is probably the first time that I have real conversation other than like a hi, hello, what's up type of thing. So
I know it's always we're very on like a tunnel vision. Like we got stuff to do.
Yeah. No, you're right. But I guess if you want to tell the people how they can connect with you, follow you on Twitter. We won't call it the X on Twitter, but
I'm not
yeah,
calling it that.
yeah. Feel free to give out however you want people to interact with you if that is the case. Maggie's
yeah,
the
I
goat,
mean-
that's for sure.
And how do you pronounce your last name?
McKeithen. I
Nick
knew it.
Keithan.
I panicked after I saw her like pop up. I was like, my God, I know I looked it up.
McKeithan, yes. No, yeah, you can follow me on Twitter or Instagram, Maggie McKeithan. Or I think I've posted a couple videos. I haven't been that very active on my YouTube, but it's Maggie's Got Game on my YouTube. But yeah, and I look forward to more Dynamo Dash to come this season. I think it's gonna be very fun.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't know why I think. I know it is. I mean, y'all are always. I think the press box, the Dynamo press box, is just so fun.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. I can't
keep it
wait.
rocking.
We keep it rocking. Yeah.
We keep rocking.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. But Christian, man, I guess just if you want to tell the people how they can connect with us, man.
Yes, sir. You can always find us at BayouCitySoccer.net. That's the actual website. But if you're on social media at Bayou City Soccer, Rudy Cigarette 3, Joey Chavala 10. You can hit up Dustin at Twitter. He's always there.
Man.
Yeah, Bayou City Soccer. You go fight with him over there about random stats and XGs and stuff like that.
Hey Joey,
random-
stop talking to the trolls, man. You need to do that. Quit that.
Trigger
man. Don't
me.
interact.
They get to me.
And you can find me at Cris Putalias. But of course, just go to the website at BayouCitySoccer.net. Or I keep saying that. BayouCitySoccer.net, and all the articles are there. The merch is there. Buy us a coffee there. Ugly Guppy, there's probably a link over there. Vote League stuff, and just get at us, man. We're just covering soccer.
Yeah.
Thanks, you guys. That was awesome.
No, this is great. So yeah, make sure
you guys are awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just make sure you obviously the YouTube is Christian's baby. We let him take over it. So make sure you subscribe. These videos will be there as well. You can listen to it on your favorite podcast app tomorrow. So Maggie, they'll get to hear you again on their way and drive home, because we don't want you to watch video as you drive, guys. That'd be pretty awesome.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
I don't do that.
Now I'm gonna have to put a
that.
disclaimer box in here, guys. Seriously. But Joey, if you want to go ahead and close it out, like Rodrigo tends to do it, feel free.
Like Rodrigo does it. Oh, I gotta channel my Rodrigo. What does he say? I can't even remember. I don't remember the script.
Don't forget to hold it
and
down.
keep it forever orange. Something like
Oh yeah, don't. We've been Bayou City Soccer. Don't forget to hold it down, keep it forever orange. And what's the new one? Hustling for what?
Oh,
Hustling for more.
Hustle and hustle for more.
For more.